we've got a big problem. The largest majority, almost all of the Apostolic Fathers, never mentioned Paul. Paul was the earliest Christian writer. 49, 50, right in that time period, AD. All of these guys were during that time, well, actually after it, up to like 130 AD. None of them, the majority of them, ever mentioned Paul. Now we're going to look. There were 3 that did, but there was like, I don't know, 7 that didn't, and that's all of them. Here is, let's take a peek here. Hang on. I want to give you the list of Apostolic Fathers. Here they are, 10 of them. 1 Clement, number 2, 2 Clement, 3 Ignatius of Antioch, 4 Polycarp of Smyrna, 5 Martyrdom of Polycarp, 6 Didache, 7 Epistles of Barnabas, 8 Shepherd of Hermas, 9 the Papias of Hierapolis, I don't know how to say his name, number 10 the letter of Ignatius, often includes in the collections. Okay, now there they are. There's writings, you can go in and read all of their writings. There's a bunch of them that never mention Paul. Why? Right after his time of writing, I smell a rat. Something is wrong, okay? Now let's take a peek at it. Here we go. The Didache, Teaching of the 12 Apostles. This is an apostolic writer's books. AD 50 to 100. Mentions Paul? Never. No reference to his letters or Pauline theology. Not once. The Shepherd of Hermas, number 2. Date, AD 90 to 140. Mentions Paul? Never. Extremely influential in Rome, but don't know Paul? Never mentions it in all these writings? Heavily focused on repentance, visions, obedience. No citations of Paul or any Pauline doctrine, justification, grace, or anything. The Epistle of Barnabas, here's the next one. AD 71 to 130, never mentions Paul. Strongly anti-Jewish sentiment. He's an anti-Semitic. Okay, allegorical interpretation does not appeal to Paul, even when discussing law versus covenant, where Paul would be the most useful. Doesn't mention him. 4, let's go to 4. Clemens, number 2. Early homily, date 100 to 140, never mentions Paul. Earliest known Christian sermon, quotes of sayings of Jesus, no reference to Paul's apostleship or Pauline letters. The Papias of Hierapolis, number 5, Apostolic Father, that is, AD 90 to 130. He wrote a lot of books. Never mentions Paul, not once. Explicitly discusses Matthew and Mark, emphasis on oral tradition, never mentions Paul or references to his letters. Very important silence given Papias' concern for apostolic origins. This is something the writers confused with the Apostolic Fathers that never mention Paul. There's these extra writers. You've got Quadrius of Athens, AD 120 to 130, never writes of Paul. Wrote a whole lot about the Christian religion. An early apologist, not strictly an apostolic father, appeals to the eyewitnesses of Jesus and miracles. No Pauline authority invoked. How about that? Apostolic Fathers that do mention Paul. There's only 3. And that's 1 Clemens, Ignatius of Antioch, and Polycarp of Smyrna. Why? Now listen to me. Do you know how many people I have mad at me in comments, throwing rocks? I got one after another. They don't like me, and they are here to persecute me. Good. It drives me closer to the one God of Israel, so thank you for blessing me. But listen to me. Why wouldn't they mention him? Why don't they say we don't like him, his doctrine is wrong, throw hate at him like all these comments do me? Why didn't they do this to Paul? They don't even mention him. You want to know why? They didn't know about him. All of them never mentioned him. If he was around, the earliest Christian writer from 49 to 50 AD, 13 books, nobody mentions him? Something's rotten. Something's rotten. Something ain't right. It's logical they never heard of him. When did this Paul person show up, really? Somebody's pulling the wool over somebody's eyes. You do your study on it. Figure out what the truth is. I'm beginning to think Christianity is a big rouge.